For this video, we are going to create your generic eye practice for your self-portrait. So let's look first at some example eyes to talk for just a little bit about eyes and their structure and what we're going to be doing. So first thing, eyes vary wildly from person to person. Everybody has a little bit different. They're a little bit different set, they're different width. Your eyelids, top and bottom, cover a different amount of your iris, and so this is going to be something that's really specific to each person when we get started on the self-portrait. But in general, you know that you will have an upper eyelid and a lower eyelid. Everyone's going to have an iris and a pupil. If your eyes are very dark, it might be difficult for you to see the difference between your iris and your pupil, but it's there. A lot of times you will have a highlight because your eyes are glossy. You will have a water line down here. Your eyelashes will come out from the top eyelid on the top and then from down a little bit lower on the bottom. And your eyes are going to be made look three-dimensional through the use of shading. So what we're going to do is to draw in our generic eye practice right here. And we're going to draw a left eye and a right eye. Please draw along with me. You need to make sure that you're drawing the eyes so that they fill up most of these rectangles. Make sure that you are not drawing them teeny weeny tiny, right? We need to draw them big and round. So I'm going to take my example eyes and make sure they're very close. It's always a good idea to have close example eyes that we're drawing from. And we're going to go ahead and, ooh, look, she's staring at you. Get it started right over here. So now I may be drawing a little bit darker. I'm going to try with my 2H so that my value can be good, but if it's not as visible as I'm hoping, I might have to switch. When we start to draw our eyes, we will start with the left eye and then we move to the right eye. Drawing the right eye is easier than drawing the left eye. I don't know why, but in all cases it's a good idea to start with the harder one and then move on to the easier one so that you can match it up. We will begin by drawing the upper eyelid, and it is round. It goes up like this. This person's eyelid goes up, and then right about here it shoots down like that. Now let's go ahead and go over to the other side and draw his little friend. You don't have to worry about the spacing in between because this is not an actual face. We'll worry about that when we're drawing your own eyes. So let's go ahead and go down like that. Okay, so we have two relatively matching sections. Your lower eyelid is usually a little bit flatter than your upper eyelid. So this tends to have a bigger curve, and then your lower eyelid has less of a curve. So let's go ahead and go on in here, and very, very lightly we're going to draw in this lower eye curve, letting it come in and around for the caruncle. This little gooby in the corner of your eye that collects all of the eye boogers is called a caruncle. That's just a generic term for any skin fold in your body that does this same kind of thing. Sometimes I find it difficult to get the line to work out nice when I'm trying to match up a line, so I'll draw a little bit of the line this way and then a little bit of the line that way, and that can really, really help when I'm doing my drawings to make the lines match up where I'm trying to go. Okay, after you get the basic eye shape taken care of, you can go in and we're going to do some fancy details in this. So I'm going to zoom in real close so that you can see what I'm doing here. First, over here, we're going to draw the little edge of the eyeball up here to help out with the caruncle, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here because remember, we draw a little left and we draw a little right. We draw a little left, we draw a little right. We compare the two to each other. Okay, so we've got these little lines for our caruncle. caruncle's got another little guy over there, and we'll do most of the rest of that with value. Now over here, if we look very closely at the corner of this eye, and I'm going to put her up here so you can see that this is skin right here. Now the line that I've drawn, this line is out here, but we need to draw this section on the inside here, and then we're going to have another line down here. So this is an extra added little bit. So I'm going to go in here, and I will be drawing in where the eyeball goes. And the eyeball goes in here. And then we'll round it out. Now it's not going to run all the way along the outside. With the other eyelid, it just kind of stops over here because of the way that the skin turns. So let's go ahead and draw it over here. It's a little bit round, and then it curves and goes a little in here. When you look at my eyes that I'm drawing, you can see how I have some overdrawing and some little extra lines, and I just kind of leave them there, and eventually I'll start erasing, but for the most part I leave mistakes and just draw very, very lightly. I don't want to just keep erasing over and over again, because then I get rid of all of my details, and I don't want to do that. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do with our eye practice is we're going to go ahead and draw in those irises. The iris is the colored part of your eye, right? So this is our iris, and it is a perfect circle. In the direct center of it, we will have another perfect circle that is your pupil. So let's go ahead and work on a good circle. Again, I draw a little left, I draw a little right. This person's eye is cut off by the upper eyelid. So I just kind of work on it like this until it comes together. Now I'm going to go over here, and looking at my reference, I'm going to do my best to draw in this eyelid. Okay, just like that. So I have my two irises drawn in, and now I'm going to go back and draw in the pupils. And the pupil in regular light is about a third the size of the iris. So I'm going to draw it like this, and then I'm not going to make it a full circle because she's got this really, really bright highlight on her eyes, and so I'm just going to kind of leave this little dashed space, because if I draw a little line over that, and I'll make this a little darker and then lighten it up later, but you'll draw it really, really light, okay? Just like this. And if I were to continue the iris or the pupil through here, then you'd have a little line through your highlight, and that will spoil the illusion, and I don't want that. So we're going to do the same thing over here, where we're drawing the pupil, trying to get it right in the very, very center of the iris. Just like this, as close as you can, and then a little tiny sketchy line. Again, it should be very, very light. This one's a little bit darker, but that was just so that you could see it. All right, so we have our eye shape left and right. They're matching, not exactly perfect, but they're pretty nice. Our next section for just the eye shape is going to be to add in the upper eyelid. Upper eyelids are, again, very personal to each person. This person's upper eyelid is closer by the caruncle, and then it gets a wee bit further away. Through here, and runs alongside the eye. Now, when you start to draw yours, your eyes may look very, very different, and the eyelid's shape will be very, very different depending on what your face looks like. That's why we will be practicing drawing your own eyes as well down below. So here we go. We have that. All right, so we have some really nice eye structure. It is now time to start with the value, and I'm going to put a little suggestion of where the value is going to go underneath here. So this is what the outline should look like. And then for the value video, I'm going to do a speeded over version of it.